Hello everyone, Steve Gage here, NASM certified personal trainer and co-owner of Engage Fitness. Today we're going to discuss how to do some lower back stretches. Short and sweet, something you can implement into your daily routine if you are experiencing lower back pain either through sciatica or any kind of other nerve damage or discomfort. So a lot of times we think when we feel muscle strain or tension, it's just one area. Chances are it's not. It's more or less the areas around it that are tight or affecting it that give you that tension. So we're going to start with talking about the lower back or the erector spinae where we usually feel that tension. Is also involved with lower back is sometimes we feel tightness in the glutes all the way down to the hamstrings, and it may even start as low as the foot. So we're just going to focus on glutes and lower back today, giving you those pain relief you're looking for. So first we're going to start with quote unquote the bottom, the glutes, because that's a tendency to be where a lot of the back pain comes from. So we're going to start using our chair. So these stretches you can do sitting, preferably on a solid surface, because when we use an area like a couch or something with a cushion, it doesn't give us that support we're looking for. So with this, we're sitting. I'm going to start targeting those hips as well as the glutes, a key source of where that lower back tension comes from. So what we're going to do is raise up one foot and just going to reach that ankle across the knee. So we want to get it above the knee. We never want to place pressure directly on the joint, because then it irritates the other area, another area we're trying to stress. So getting that leg right above the knee, and if getting into this shape and this height is difficult, just start lower. Just start with the leg a little straighter, getting that leg crossed, and then you can scoot that foot until the knee is at a 90-degree angle. So with the knee that's in the air, you're applying slight pressure down, and again, not on the knee joint itself. You want to go right above it, right on that upper part of the leg, and just slowly pressing down. You're trying to rotate that leg, that knee down towards the floor. Slow and steady, never forcefully pushing. We want a slow, controlled stretch here. Again, making sure also we're breathing. We don't want to just hold the breath and try to power through the stretch until the pain is unbearable and we stop. We want to breathe, because if we're tense, that muscle we're trying to stretch is tense, so we need to breathe through it. Just bring it to that point where you feel that's enough for now, and just hang out in that shape. 3 to 4 big inhales. And then to add a little more stretch, we can use the opposite hand with that, grabbing that ankle and just pushing up, because that'll add to that rotation and that stretch. And just slowly pressing down and pulling up with the opposite hand, really feeling that stretch on the outside of the hip all the way up to the glutes. Again, focusing on those breaths. We don't want them quickened. We want to inhale, hold for a second, and pause and relax, and just try to get into that stretch, holding this for 30 seconds, and then relax. And then obviously we want to switch to the other side, and you may find one side is more tight than the other. That's totally normal. Everybody has those sides that are weaker, stronger, tighter, looser, just different. We'll just call them different. So again, starting with that leg extended, that ease of getting into this shape, crossing the leg over above the knee, or above the knee. We don't want it directly on the knee joint because it's just generally uncomfortable. And then we'll scoot that leg forward, and then applying slight pressure above that knee, getting that rotation in that hip joint. And you may only need to move a millimeter just to feel that stretch. That's totally fine. Find what works for you in this stretch. And then we'll take it a little further, grabbing that ankle and pushing it up. Again, you're trying to increase that rotation of that leg and that hip joint. That's going to alleviate all those tight areas which may lead to lower back pain. And these are exercises you can do right out of bed, especially when some of us wake up and we automatically feel that pain and discomfort. Just take 1 to 2 minutes and it'll help you move better and get ready for the rest of your day as pain-free as possible. That's the ultimate goal, right? Pain-free. And then relax again. 2 to 3 sets of 15 to 30 seconds. We don't want to overdo it and then aggravate those areas we're trying to stretch even further, because then nobody wants to go backwards. So next we'll take this shape to the floor. So if you're unable to get to a chair or a seated position, or if you just want to do these while you're watching TV, kind of multitask here. Get ready, get the body ready and relaxed as well as watching whatever's on TV. So we're going to take a similar shape with this. Again, bringing that leg crossing over above the knee and just applying slight, gentle pressure, trying to get that knee down to the floor. And don't focus on, oh, I can't get my knee to the floor yet, or I can't do this. Focus on what shape and what form of the stretch works best for you. And stretching is not a competition. You may be thinking it up here, but it's not. It's finding what suits you best in that shape. And the only difference with this is we don't have the chair to give us that back support, so we want to make sure we have just a little bit of core activation and we're not leaning way back or excessively leaning forward. We want to keep that shoulders over the hips, slightly activated core, and just slowly pressing down on that leg as well as getting that little bit of ankle lift up. Relaxing, and we can take this shape a little further. So we're going to lie down back. Now some of you are thinking, oh good, I can lie down for a minute. So again, getting into that shape, we get the one leg up and then rotate it over so that ankle is on above the knee. And again, if this is not suitable for you yet, just get that leg that's on the floor straight, and it's a lot easier to get into that shape. And then just like we did on the chair, scoot that leg up to where you feel that's enough for the stretch, and just applying light pressure, trying to get that knee to rotate down, grabbing that ankle for that little bit of extra, and then we'll take this a little further. So if you're able, reach and grab behind the knee of the leg that's on the floor. Interlace those fingers and just slowly, cautiously bring that knee to the chest, because what that's going to do is it's going to intensify that stretch just a little more. And just take that shape to where it serves you most. Don't try to force it to the point where you're shaking and just it's miserable. We want to be relaxed, again, focusing on that breath. 15 to 30 seconds here, and then slowly relax that leg. And then uncross that leg, bring it back down to the floor, and return to neutral. And another glute stretch we can do while we're lying on the floor, again, watching TV or just taking those few minutes to unwind and relax. So this is a knee hug, so we're just bringing those knees as close to the chest as we can, using the hands to give it a little bit of extra squeeze. And we're holding the shape again for that 15 to 30 seconds, finding that sweet spot. You can also take this shape one leg at a time, gives you a little bit more freedom. So I have one leg extended, bring one knee up, again grabbing never on the joint, we want to grab below that knee joint. Just really bringing that knee to the chest, maybe even getting a little outside the hip. So instead of bringing the knee straight in, maybe if you want to take it out a little more, getting a little more hamstring and hip in there. Again, play around with the shape, finding what works best for you. You may want to bring it in a little more, a little out. Again, play around with it. You have the flexibility to choose where the shape fits you best. And then of course, switching to the other, same position. Getting that leg squeezed in, and maybe a little ankle movement. And then again, a little to the outside maybe, or a little more in. Just play around with it. Find where you get the most bang for your buck in that stretch. And then relax. Now we're on to the main target area. We're going to hit that lower back, the lumbar area. So we're going to start with our seated position since we're already here, working smarter, not harder. So we're going to start crossing that leg over just like you're casually sitting there, hanging out. So what you're going to do is grab grab that leg and you're gonna try to bring that knee close to the chest. Even if you want to bring in the body a little more, squeezing straight from the side here. Bringing that knee in and really squeezing that leg. Maybe even getting a little rotation. So rotate the body with the leg away and you'll feel that stretch all the way down to your butt. Squeezing that leg. Again, getting a little rotation if it serves you. And then relax. And then we're going to drop that foot to the floor. Crossing the opposite arm so the elbow is on the other side of that leg. And with that elbow, we're going to drive into that leg, really also getting into that hip a little more. And we're just going to work the lower back a little. So rotate away, pushing away from that leg. Even using maybe the backhand to kind of scoot a little farther away. Again, taking it slow and easy. We don't want to jerk and twist because then that adds a little aggravation to the muscle we're trying to stretch. And just slowly try to increase that stretch. Again, focusing on those big inhales. Those yoga breaths. And then we'll relax. Switching to that other side. Same position. Crossing that leg over. Arm comes over. Driving into that leg. Again, intensifying that hip and lower back stretch. And then we're just trying to rotate away from that leg that's crossed. Again, if you want to use that other hand to kind of scoot, and just slowly take that shape. Again, each few breaths, 1 to 2 breaths, try to increase that stretch just a small amount. We don't want a crazy amount of increasing that stretch because then you overdo it and pull something. And then relax. So next we're going to completely lie down. Lying down with the legs extended completely out. I'm going to take one leg and cross it over, but we want to make sure that first start is that the toes are pointing straight up with that straight leg. And we're just bringing that leg across, making sure we're watching that foot because we don't want to roll the foot yet. We want to hang out with the toes pointing towards the ceiling. Just hang out here for a minute. Allow this knee to slowly creep across the body. And then next we're going to completely roll to the side. But with this we want to make sure the shoulders stay on the floor. They don't come off because we want to use that as our anchor point. And then we'll slowly roll the hips stacking on top of each other, maybe even coming over. We're trying to get the knee that's crossing to touch the floor. Nice and easy, slow, and then you can allow that straight leg to roll along with it. Just hanging out in this shape. Maybe even getting a little assistance from the hand that's closest to that crossed leg. Again, right above the knee, slowly assisting and trying to get it down to the floor. And again, making sure the shoulders stay on the floor because you'll notice if you roll with the shoulders, you lose all that lower back stretch, which is what we're trying to target. So we're keeping those shoulders on the floor. 15 to 30 seconds and then switch. Again, starting with that toes towards the ceiling position. Leg up and over. Hanging out here for 10 seconds, focusing on those big inhales. And then eventually the hips will roll. Again, keeping those shoulders glued to the floor. And again, you can play around with that leg angle. You may find you get more of a stretch with the leg lower, raising a little higher. You may feel it differently. Just play around with it. Find where you feel the most stretch, even using that other hand for slight assistance. And again, stretching is not a competition. If you're not able to get fully into the shape yet, it's fine. Stretching is about finding what suits you best. And then we'll relax. In our last shape, we're going to work on stretching the thoracic spine, the middle of the back. So we're getting on all fours, making sure the joints are aligned, the hip and knee are straight, and the wrist, elbow, and shoulder are in that straight line. And with this, we're just gonna pick one hand, doesn't matter which, because we're going to do both. And we're just gonna raise that hand up, keeping that arm straight just to where you feel it suits you best, trying to open up that chest, getting a little opening here, trying to get that hand as far back as possible. And then returning back to the middle, hang there for a second, and then try that again. Try to get a little farther. Again, don't force it quick. You want control, feeling into the shape. And then back to the middle. And then onto the other side. Slow and controlled. You may only get a few inches off the ground, that's fine. Just hang in that top of that shape for a minute and then come back down. And again, focusing on that breath. We don't want to just hold the breath the whole time because then everything's tight and we want things to be loosey-goosey and relaxed. And just try to get into that shape a little more. Maybe getting a little rotation in the shoulder, getting that thumb to go back. Opening that chest a little more. And then back to neutral. One more time. A little more rotation. And then back to the middle. And relax. Well, thank you everyone for joining me today. I hope these stretches you can implement into your daily routine to help alleviate some of that lower back or even maybe some hip pain. Again, small steps. Just taking a few of these exercises every other day help alleviate some of that pain, and you'll eventually start to notice, hey, I'm waking up with a little less pain, a little more pain-free, a little less stress throughout the day. That's all we're looking for. Have a good day, guys. Be kind, be safe, and choose to be well. Take care.